Welcome to Cake on Tuesday, where we spotlight the rule breakers, the underdogs who refuse to listen when everyone said it won't work. I'm Elizabeth Bieniek, and for the next 20 minutes, we're diving into another disruptive innovation story that proves sometimes the craziest ideas change everything. Thanks, everybody, for joining me on this special Veterans Day edition of Cake on Tuesday. I am thrilled to have Matt Maples here. He is with USA Cares. Matt's background is in leadership development, nonprofit management, and public speaking. He spent his career leading organizations, building teams, and creating programs that make a difference in communities. USA Cares, where he is currently, helps veterans in crisis with emergency grants designed to keep them in their homes, with their families, and in their jobs. Matt, this is an excellent time to be talking about a very excellent cause. Welcome to the show. Please tell us a little bit about what sets your soul on fire about helping veterans.
Wow, what an amazing question, Elizabeth. And thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak with you and your incredible audience about this tremendous opportunity that we have to make a difference together in the lives of veterans across our country. So my soul gets lit on fire when I think about the opportunities and the ways that I can contribute to and help people grow. I love to see people develop and grow and become greater versions of themselves. And it just lights me up when I get to experience that and see someone really thrive and do well.
That's awesome. So we got to talk a little bit before the show, and you explained to me a little bit about what USA Cares does. Can you explain a little bit for our audience? Because this is a very cool concept and a very much needed organization. So tell us a little bit about how you operate and the niche and problem that you're solving.
Absolutely. I would be honored to. So let me back up for just a moment, if I may, and I'll tell you about why we exist maybe and lead that into what we're doing. So we were in 2003, some Army veterans came together and they started realizing and recognizing the fact that veterans coming back from wars in Afghanistan and Iraq were struggling more so than they had experienced before. And what they decided to do was to come together and to form an organization to try and help those veterans. See, here's what we know. We know that every year since 2001, we have lost over 6,000 veterans to suicide. Now, just let that sink in for just a second.
Staggering.
The war on terrorism lasted for 22 years. It was officially ended in 2023. And in that time, we lost about 7,000 soldiers who were killed in action. But in that same period of time, we lost about 144,000 who died by suicide. So those veterans in 2003 that started USA Cares, they were onto something. They recognized that we had something happening to our veterans when they returned from conflict. When they returned from war, they were really struggling transitioning back into civil society, into the civilian society. They were struggling to be able to find their purpose. They were struggling to be able to find jobs that were adequate for them. They were struggling with mental and physical injuries that they had sustained in the battlefield. And what we do is we want to come alongside them and help them. We help them in a crisis moment. So here's largely what we try to do. We provide emergency grants that are designed to help keep veterans and their families together in their homes and in their jobs. And here's a little bit about how that works. So what happens very, very commonly with veterans is they come back from deployment and then they maybe struggle to find a job, or they struggle to find an adequate job. Or what happens more often than not is they're doing fine for a little while until they're not. Maybe it's their PTSD, or something triggers them, or just something happens. And they come to this kind of crossroads, and they get behind on their rent, and they're not able to pay their rent, and they're about to be evicted. Now, there's a lot of organizations out there that work to try and help veterans in a lot of different ways. And we try to work with a number of those. They do amazing work. But there's not very many of us out there that are looking to really try and provide a significant amount of assistance in a quick manner to help avoid things like foreclosure and eviction and so forth. So what will happen is a veteran they'll get an eviction notice. Then they reach out to us, and then we work with them to quickly identify their situation. And then we pay their rent on behalf of them. So we would reach out to their landlord and we would pay their rent on behalf of them. And what I love about USA Cares is we will aid those veterans in an average of usually about 48 hours with an amount of about $4,100. That's what we averaged last in 2024. And what we try to do is we are trying to take away this incredible burden that is on their shoulders. Because what we see happen, what we know often happens, is if that veteran and their family get evicted from their home, then the chances of them getting separated starts to go up very quickly. Then the chances of them getting into things like homelessness or drug use or whatever other negative things you can think of all the statistics on those just starts to shoot up, including the idea of I want to take my own life. And we're now at a point where we have about one veteran every 65 minutes that takes their life in our country. So that's largely what we aim to do, Elizabeth.
That's amazing. And this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. Not only is this important for us all to remember on Veterans Day, but my brother is ex-military, Purple Heart recipient. He has a wonderful network of ex-military individuals, but sometimes seeing that transition can be very, very challenging, like you're saying. And this opportunity that you're creating, a lot of times it is, I've worked with veterans before. I find them to be some of the most loyal, hardworking, incredible people. But there are times where you can just it's almost like getting that wave that keeps on coming, that undercurrent that's pulling you down. If you get in that situation, it's so hard to get back up again. And these are the men and women that have gone through so much for our country already. So I think it's amazing that you are prioritizing family and giving them that stopgap, which is often that necessary chance to stop, take a breath, and then you can move on to the next challenge, which I imagine the response to that is probably incredible. Because again, it's just, you're talking about amazing people who have given so much for this country already, giving them an opportunity to just have that pause and reset so they can continue on with their life. Without getting into specifics, are you able to share some stories so people can kind of conceptualize what this might mean?
Well, I would love to share a letter that we received recently, if you don't mind.
Sure, okay. Absolutely.
This letter is from a veteran and their family that we helped this in September of 2025. And it says simply this. It says, USA Cares team members, I cannot thank you all enough for your help during the month of September. Not only did you keep our lights on, gas running, and phones working, you provided meals for my family. I can't explain the amount of mental relief that you allowed for my wife and I to feel. This transition has been extremely challenging, but you really helped lighten the load. So thank you for the work. The work that you do is so crucial, and all of your efforts are truly appreciated. Thanks, Alex, Mark, and the boys.
You make me cry, Matt. And that's pretty impactful.
Wow.
If you want to find impact in what you're doing, that's pretty amazing right there.
Yeah, we get stories like that because they're families who go through a lot of hardships, a lot of difficulties. And then when they hit a bump in a road and they're trying to find out, is there anybody that's out there that is willing to help me? Is there anybody able to do anything? And to have people come together to come and help them and give them kind of a hand up, that's just an incredible gift. It's an incredible blessing to those families.
what was said in that letter is similar to what you said before too. I mean, you're providing a monetary grant to help people at a time in need, but almost the bigger thing is that mental relief, because there's that mental challenge of trying to provide for your family, trying to make the bills get paid. So is that what you see again and again? Is that almost the mental side of it is what you're, if you were going to define your service, what you provide, how would you describe that?
I believe that the thing that we provide the most, Elizabeth, is peace of mind. I believe that we provide like an opportunity for the veteran and their family to take a breath and just to know that there's someone that cares. And then together we can figure out what is the best way forward for their family.
Mm.
You know, when those bills and those creditors start coming and they start calling and they start emailing and they start sending letters and they start sending letters and they start sending letters and you start having notices on your door and stuff like that, it feels like the world is against you. And you need someone to come alongside you and help you for that time period. And that's largely what we do. We provide, like you said, emergency grants that we pay on behalf of the veteran. So like we would pay directly to the landlord, and largely what we do is rent, utilities, and car repair and stuff like that. So some of the absolute necessities of life, what we aim to really provide those opportunities for these veterans to give them a moment to take a breath. And then we can kind of talk with them and figure out, okay, what is it that we need to do next? Like, what is the long-term plan that we need to have? Because one of the big challenges that we have too is that when a active duty service member, like your brother, and thank him for his service on my behalf.
I will on your behalf.
So amazing. But when an active duty military member leaves the military, they do not automatically get veteran benefits. Like these things are not, it's not like a switch is flipped and they're automatically enrolled in all the veteran benefits and stuff like that. They actually have to go out and find those benefits. They have to sign up for those benefits. And then they have to go through the process of waiting oftentimes for those benefits. And that tends to create a lot of challenges for a number of veterans, especially if they're not real good at navigating like pretty large and complicated bureaucracies, which I mean, we tend to do that well.
For any of us. Yeah, exactly. So how do people learn more about USA Cares, what you do? How do people get involved if they want to help fund and drive this goal that you're doing? How do people learn more?
So I would love for people to go to our website. It's usacares.org. So just usacares.org, and you can go on the website, and on the website, you can read some stories about some veterans and their families that we've been able to help. You can we have some videos of some transcribed calls of veterans after they've learned that they're going to receive aid and assistance from us and so forth. And you can also see how you can engage with USA Cares. So one way that we really ask people to engage with us is by helping us by donating funds so that we can pay for a lot of these, so that we can fund these grants and everything that are being requested. And all of that can be done right from our website.
Are you run entirely on donations, or how does USA Cares get funding?
We largely are funded through corporate, private donations. And then we receive grants. And then in certain states, we have some government assistance as well. So it's kind of a mixture of a lot of different things, you know, as we're trying to find ways to help veterans as much as we can. I specifically work, especially in the Texas space. I'm working with and trying to help our veterans in Texas, and we have a lot of them, the most veterans of any state.
You mentioned, what's the statistic here of we've got here in Texas?
So out of USA Cares, out of all of the veterans that we help, about 20% of them are in Texas.
Okay.
So, and we help all 50 states. So that kind of tells you.
Okay.
That tells you something. But Texas has Texas has a couple of million veterans. It's over 1 million veterans.
Wow.
And we have, and that's from a lot of reasons. One is in Texas, we have 15 active military bases. And just so if you are, no matter what branch you're in the military, there is a pretty good chance that at some point in time in your service, you have put some boots on the ground here in Texas and stuff, and spent some time, either here in the Central Texas area where I live, or in San Antonio, which is kind of nicknamed Military City, USA, or the Galveston coast area, or up in Wichita Falls in the Air Force Base, or we can go on and on. Out in El Paso at Fort Bliss.
So USA Care supports all branches, veterans from all branches of the military, and you said you operate in all 50 states, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. So what's new on the horizon for you looking ahead to 2026? What are you most excited about? What are some of the biggest needs for USA Cares? What's the look ahead look like?
So we're very excited about the opportunities that we've had this year so far already to be able to serve veterans. We've been able to serve the most veterans that we've ever served in a year, which is a double-sided coin. On one side, it's an honor to be able to help so many veterans, but on the other side, it's unfortunate that that's the case. But our goal, my goal largely is we're really working to be able to, we're trying to be able to help more of the veterans who are coming to us. So we tend to run into challenges of it's hard to have enough funds to be able to help all the veterans who are coming to us and needing help. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to find ways of really being able to help our veterans, help more of those veterans. Our main office is in the Louisville, Kentucky area. And in that area, we have some very large events that happen throughout the year. Like in July, we're going to have a big gala event in Louisville. That's a large event for us. And we do some big events like a golf tournament it happens in the fall and so forth. In Texas, we're looking to try to put some of those kinds of things together as well. We're trying to put together a large breakfast event that would be in the Austin, Texas area in March, as well as some other events throughout the year as well, to really try and help share information about what it is that we're doing, and try and help build a team of people to work together to try and help more veterans.
That's awesome. Matt, if people want to learn more about how to get involved, what USA Cares is doing, how they're operating locally, where can they go? How can they find you? How can they find more about the organization?
I would love for you to check out our website, usacares.org, and you can reach out to me personally. It's Matt, M-A-T-T, .maples, M-A-P-L-E-S, @usacares.org. I would love to have a conversation with anyone in your audience, Elizabeth. I know you have a bunch of entrepreneurs. You have a group of people who know how to build things and to know how to make things happen. And I would love to talk with any of them who are interested in trying to do that kind of work for our veterans.
Excellent. That's awesome. An awesome plug for that. Entrepreneurs, it's on you now. You can reach out to Matt and find out how you can get involved. Thank you so much for joining us on the special Veterans Day edition of Cake on Tuesday. Matt, keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And I thank you very much for the honor of speaking with you today.
Thanks for joining another Cake on Tuesday celebration of beautiful disruption. Please share it, review it, and find more innovative stories at podcast.cakeontuesday.com. I'm Elizabeth Bienik. Be bold, stay curious. Now go have some cake.